Rude, but true. No, I'm not much of a movie guy. Amy has tried to rebuke me of that because, movie night with, yeah. Anyways. Well, good morning, everybody. Team rally this morning. I'm going to read something from a book called Keep the Blood Warm. Pastor Adrian has read from it before, even for a team rally. And it's a good one. If you're looking for one, it's a good one. Get into it. It really helps draw ties towards how we are new covenant priests, that we steward not the blood of lambs, but the blood of the Lamb, yeah? And keeping that warm, keeping the reality of the power of Christ's blood present in our day-to-day. So I'm going to read one, and I'm going to give a little exposition on it. Does that sound good? All right, so this is starting with Hebrews chapter 9, verses 12 through 14. It says this: He, meaning Jesus, entered once for all into the holy places, not by means of the blood of goats and calves, but by means of his own blood, thus securing an eternal redemption. For if the blood of goats and bulls and the sprinkling of defiled persons with the ashes of a heifer, if those sanctify for the purification of the flesh, how much more will the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without blemish to God, how much more does that purify our conscience from dead works to serve the living God? So then the little excerpt that he writes here. As a priest in the new covenant, you were made for nearness. You were made to draw close to God and enjoy him forever. And it's in his presence that there is the fullness of joy. So are you lacking joy? If you are, then you are lacking the consciousness of nearness. I'm going to come back to that. For it is impossible to be in the presence of God and be in want of joy. But how do you actually draw near? You know, the old covenant priests were only able to enter the holy places once a year and not without the shedding of blood. But Jesus has entered into the true holy place in his own blood, or with his own blood, securing for us a path to draw near to God at all times. It is the consciousness of his blood that is so superior to the blood of bulls and of goats that at any time that we recall its efficacy, the efficiency of Christ's blood, when we recall that, we may enjoy the presence of God. Right? The Israelites needed, in order to be in the presence of God, it was reserved for very specific, singular times of the year that required a lot of shedding of blood in order to enter into that space. But we have Jesus, who is the perfect Lamb, who shed his own blood, that ripped open that curtain and made it possible for us to enjoy and be in the presence of God all the time, right? And so it's that line just stuck with me. If you are lacking a consciousness of nearness, the nearness of Christ's blood on your life, right? Like I think back to Plead the Blood just a few weeks ago. I think back to, I wrote it here on the side. Our serving here at Takeover is to produce a nearness of our own selves and to the Lord, right? Yes, for everyone who walks in this place by putting on what we call church, right? But it is the nearness of our own selves towards the Lord, right? And we do this by having a consciousness of the power and the efficiency of Christ's blood. That it is eternal, that it completely blankets and it covers, and it has secured the pathway for you to draw near. And what struck me about this is it says that when I don't feel near to God, it's because I'm lacking the consciousness of Christ's own nearness. What that means is that the nearness has already been bought. It is already permanent. It is already always there. I am just not conscious of it. I have lost sight of it. My eyes have come off of it. I have removed myself or my posture away from it. Because there is a truth that supersedes my own reality. There is the truth of Christ, his victory, and his nearness that supersedes and is more true, is actually the only truth than whatever I am going through. Right. the difficulties, the bad dream, the things that have tripped me up today or yesterday, right? And so it's leaning in and tuning in our own consciousness, in our own minds and in our own hearts. That is then the very pathway that leads us on the pathway that Christ has provided by his blood to be near him. So the encouragement is, let's get near by just living in the place of the power of Christ's blood and what truth that speaks over us and our hearts and our lives this morning. Does that sound good? All right, let's go pray.
Come on, give it up. All right, you heard the man. Let's circle up. Pray it down.